Hi, I'm Commissioner Christy McCormick from the Election Assistance Commission. March is Women's History Month. As part of the EAC's recognition of this month, I will be interviewing women leaders in elections about their experiences in the field serving voters across the country. Today, I'm pleased to speak with Amelia Powers Gardner, who is the Utah County, Utah Clerk Auditor. Welcome so much to the EAC virtually, Amelia. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see you. I think it was just about a year ago that I was actually at an EAC event in person. That was the last travel before things kind of shut down with COVID.
I think that was an accessibility program that we were having. That's right. Yeah, that was a good remembrance. I forgot that we had done that. So yeah, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
So I was just going to interview you about your career, and my first question for you is, how did your career in public service begin?
So I just began my career in public service. I have been in office for just a little over 2 years. I was elected on the November ballot in 2018 and took office in January of 2019. So like I said, we're just over 2 years. Prior to that, I actually didn't have any experience in public service. I was a small business consultant. And then prior to that, I spent 12 years with Caterpillar, the diesel engine construction and mining equipment company.
So how did you decide to run then for your position that you have now?
So I have an engineering background. I tend to look at processes and find problems and fix them. I was trained to do that at Caterpillar, and then that's what I did for small businesses, is help them create better processes. And just being involved in my community, I recognized that my office had a breakdown when it came to processes. There were a lot of little ticky-tacky mistakes that would come out of this office that would create bad press, bad news stories for my county. And I actually started by trying to recruit someone else to run for this office. And I was unable to successfully recruit somebody to run for this office. The night before the filing deadline, it just occurred to me that maybe I should run for the office, and I should take the things that I had learned in business and in my career and apply them to this office. So with about 2 hours to spare before the filing deadline closed, I came and filed to run for this office and started my public career.
And here you are. So with that background, what are some notable industry changes that you would like to see over the next few years, given that this is kind of what you like to do, change processes and improve them?
Right. I would love to see more people embrace innovation. I have found that by upgrading technology and embracing innovation in my county, we were able to take a county that the governor literally called the epicenter of dysfunction, and we were able to turn it into a model for our state and for the nation. We are a vote by mail county. So it's kind of counterintuitive. I say embrace technology, and then we've gone back to paper ballots. But we're able to process our elections more efficiently, more quickly, and with more confidence using innovation and technology. I would love for that trend to continue.
So what are some of the changes or initiatives that you've implemented since coming into this office?
The things that we've implemented, it's a long list. We literally updated everything except for the only piece of equipment that didn't change were the iPads, and we updated the software on the iPads. I mean, something as simple as we got updated scanners to do our paper, to process the paper voter registration forms. We were able to get a state-of-the-art scanner that speeds that process up tenfold. It's a little thing, but it really meant a lot to our staff that they could be more efficient. On top of that, we got newer high-speed scanners to process all of the ballots coming in. We got a mail sorter, so that as we had 292,000 people cast ballots, and they were all paper ballots, and they all came in an envelope. And we have a mail sorter now that helps take care of that. So we've automated our entire processes. But I think what I'm most excited about is the way that we've utilized technology to reach out to demographics that are traditionally underserved. So it is a big step to mail every active registered voter a ballot. But even beyond that, what was kind of surprising to me being new to this space is when realizing that not every person actually has access to or can fill out a paper ballot independently. That was a big wake-up call for me. And so we've been able to take our overseas and our military citizens, those with disabilities or in an emergency, and we can utilize an electronic ballot marking device for them. So we're actually having people use their phones, and we're using a mobile ballot for these demographics of people that are traditionally underserved. And that's really exciting.
And how's that been received?
It's been kind of mixed. You've got a lot of people that the use of this innovation and technology scares them.
Yeah.
But for those people that have been unable to cast a ballot, maybe they're serving in the military overseas and their paper ballot doesn't show up in time, or for those with disabilities, they absolutely love it. They love that they can cast their ballot independently by themselves with anonymity, and they have more confidence that their vote was actually counted.
Yeah, that's a huge change for some people and who haven't been able to vote in the past. So this helps enfranchise people. It's going to be interesting to see if that technology takes hold. I know you were kind of doing it as a pilot. Is that right? And then we'll see if other jurisdictions pick up on that. It's going to be, I think it's a little controversial over the security issues involved. Right. So we'll see where it goes. But, it's exciting that you're willing to try it. And we need to have people try these things if we're going to move forward and try to embrace some of this technology.
Right. I think in certain demographics, like I had one person who worked for the State Department, and the last time that she had voted prior to this, she filled out a paper ballot and then she gave it to her husband, who gave it to his boss, who gave it to his secretary, who then faxed it into the office. There's no anonymity in that.
No, there's not. Yeah. Privacy is a big deal. So, absolutely. Yeah. So as a woman in elections, what advice do you have for other women who may be interested in a career in public service?
I think one of the most important things that we can do is bring confidence to our decisions. And the best way to do that is to have done the background information, the research, and have the knowledge to have confidence in your decisions. I know that being new to this space and also being a woman in this space, at first, I wasn't really confident in my decisions until I started doing the research. So reading Election Line and attending conferences, looking at articles. I often will actually I'll get a text message on a Sunday afternoon from my elections director, and she'll say, hey, I saw this article in Election Line, check it out. And that really helps give us confidence and gives me confidence in the decisions that I'm making, especially as I'm innovating and doing cutting edge things. I really have to have a good base knowledge. So taking the time to do the research and understand both sides of an argument helps you have that confidence. I think that's really necessary as a woman in the public sector.
And it sounds like you're also willing to take some risks. I mean, just by deciding to jump off and serve yourself rather than getting someone else to serve and trying new things, I think being able to take a risk is also something that women shouldn't be afraid to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have a great opportunity to lead in this space, but we have to take a risk to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And finally, if you remember the first time you voted, do you remember the first time you voted and the circumstances?
I do, actually. I remember it quite well. So the first time that I voted was in 2000. And this is the infamous Bush v. Gore year. And I was a freshman in college. I was in my dorm room, and I'm still really good friends with this college roommate today. She was a bridesmaid at my wedding 2 years ago, and we're still quite close. She is a very progressive liberal Democrat, and I am a traditionally conservative Republican. And we were roommates in college. And I remember it was Monday night, and we were getting ready to go to bed. And we were talking about how both of us were just barely 18, ready to cast a ballot, but yet we were at college. She was about an hour from home, and I was about an hour and a half from home. And we decided that, you know what, this is too important to miss it just because we're an hour or an hour and a half from our polling locations. So we decided to both just pack up and leave and drive back to our parents' house that night and spend the night at our parents' house, wake up in the morning, first thing in the morning, go to the polling locations, cast our ballot for the first time, and then drive all the way, for me an hour and a half, for her an hour, back to college to attend our classes. And it was so funny. I said, you realize we're like canceling out each other's votes, right? Because you're going to vote one way and I'm going to vote another. And then we talked about that and decided, you know, it didn't matter. It didn't matter that we were both going to go cancel out each other's votes. It was the fact that we were 18 and we could vote and we were going to take that time. So at like 11 o'clock at night, we called our parents and said, don't lock the door. We're coming home. And we both drove home to spend the night just to wake up early to vote and then get back to college.
Well, that's a dedication on making sure you cast a ballot. Have you cast one in every election since?
Most. I actually spent some time overseas,
Yeah.
and I didn't always get my ballot in time. So
no wonder you're sensitive to that.
That's exactly why. I spent 4 years, I was only in Canada. I spent 4 years in Canada, and even just across the US border, sometimes my paper ballot didn't make it in time.
Well, that's a great story. And I want to thank you so much for joining us. This has been a short little interview, but it's a great celebration of women in elections and Women's History Month. So thank you so much, Amelia Powers Gardner, for joining us today. And I look forward to seeing you at our next actual in-person conference again. Hopefully that will be soon.
Thank you. I hope it's soon as well.
Thanks.